Hey everyone, and welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to show you how to turn the spring florals into a spring bouquet. So let's do it. Do you want to paint? Oh, good job. Nice painting. You're a natural. Okay, so to start, I'm just going to go through my materials. I have my Arches watercolor paper, I have my Winsor Newton Cotman watercolors, and I have my Princeton snap brushes. On hand, I have my size 12, size 2, and size 6. We'll see which ones I actually use. My paper towel and my water, and we're ready to start. Okay, so I showed you how to do some spring florals in my last video, and so now I'm just going to show you how to take those spring florals that we learned and put them all together to make a bouquet. Okay, so first we're going to start with the peony. We're going to do one because I find it can be like the center piece of the bouquet. So I'm just going to make my really nice light wash of my pink here in my palette, and I'm going to put it kind of in the center but a little bit off center. And I'm just going to create my V shape first. I'm going to take a little bit of that color off and then just bring it up. Then I'm going to do my wave shape underneath and bring that up as well to the V, but not touching. You want to have a little bit of white space in between the V and this section here. Okay. Then you're going to do your U shape underneath and bring that up to the wave pattern, just leaving some white space there. Again, if it touches a little bit, it's fine, but we want to try and create some of that white space like so. I want to make sure that still stays wet because we're going to go back in with some darker paint. Then we're just going to create some curves, rough curves around like so. And then the petals that are falling from the bottom. So just kind of petal shapes. These can touch parts of the U shape. Like that. Now we're going to go back in with the darker color, touch the bottom of the V, the bottom of the wave pattern, the bottom of the U, and the connecting petals. And then just touch parts of the curves around just to give it some darker color. You can even go back in with darker paint, do it again if you want it a bit more vibrant. Like so, like that. And then I'm just going to quickly go in with my yellow. Oops, that's a lot of yellow paint. And just do a couple lines and then some dots up here. Try not to overpower with the yellow. I mean, it's fine if you do. Might go back in with a bit more pink towards the bottom here. Like that. And there is your peony flower. Okay, and then I'm just gonna add a bit of greenery just around, just so it blends in a bit. So I'm gonna take my green color, and I'm just gonna touch parts of the peony, not too many. go back in with some darker green. Like that. And then we'll move on to the next flower. So I think I might put another little peony here, but maybe like a closed or just starting to open, which I didn't really cover in the last tutorial. So you're just gonna create kind of like a curve. Maybe this will be the tops. You know what? We're just gonna do some rough curvy lines. Kind of like in a ball. Okay, and then I'm gonna go back in with my pink. Like that. Might get a little bit of yellow for the middle. I'm gonna get more pink in there. And then I'm just gonna do a little bit of green, hugging the edges. Oops. Too much water. Like that. Okay, so there's another closed peony. Okay, and now I'm gonna do a tulip. So I'm gonna make like a peach. I'm gonna just take some of my yellow, go back into the pink. I'm gonna do my long curve shape. One side and then the other, leaving that white space in the middle. I feel like that should have been smaller, but that's okay. Do another smaller bulb here. Now I'm gonna go back in, some darker color. At the top. And at the bottom like that. And then a bit of green for where the stem is. Like that. And then I'm just going to create some of those leaves. Even touch parts of the tulip. So they have long leaves and they kind of just, long thick leaves. Like so, maybe even one coming down here. Like that. Okay. Now I'm gonna do some of the Freesia. So I'm gonna make a yellowy, pale, kind of orangey yellow Freesia. Really rough. So I'm gonna have the biggest petals here. Just long, open petals. And one that's slightly a bit more closed. And then just a bulb over there. And I'm gonna do another one up here, so long, petally things. I'm so good at speaking sometimes, eh? And one that's a bit more closed, pointing upwards, like that. And then maybe just a little bit of yellow down here. Okay, and then I'm gonna go back in with some darker yellow. The last one I did was red, but I don't know if it's gonna go with this. I'm just gonna touch the tips of the petals. It really doesn't have to be perfect, just kind of go in there and do whatever you feel. And I'm gonna take my smaller brush and I'm gonna go back in with the green. And I'm just gonna connect them and do extra little green bulbs coming down. like so. Actually, I might go back in with some yellow too. In the middle. Like that. And then we're gonna put in some lilacs. Okay, so I got my color here, just mixing it up. Gonna do a light wash of the lilac, so more water. I'm just going to roughly do some petal-y shapes. This can be really rough, like honestly, you're just kind of creating little lines going in different directions. Doesn't even have to be that triangular shape. It can be whatever you feel. This is more like a wild bouquet. Wildflower, not wild bouquet. I crack myself up sometimes. All right, stop talking. I'll create some down here. Just try to spread out the color. So, you know, if you have some up here, put some down here, you know, just to kind of make it even. Or it could be asymmetrical and no. And you can just add in some blue there. Darker parts. Like that. And then we're going to do our green. And just kind of connecting through, touching the purples just a little bit, creating that metal stem of the lilac. Like so. Okay. And now I'm gonna create more greenery, and then I'm gonna put in some lavender after. So I'm using sap green and hooker's green dark color from Winsor Newton. And I'm just gonna create some bigger petals, or I mean bigger leaves, not petals. You can overlap some of the other greenery that you did before if you like. Pop in some darker greens there. Don't know how I feel about that leaf right there. Oh well. That leaf, oh my gosh, not leave. Just kind of put them wherever you think. Maybe you can do some smaller ones. Like that. And now I'm just gonna put little bits of lavender sprigs in the background. I'm gonna take my purple, water it down. and just create those little lines in sections. One that's upside down here. Some upside down here. Then I'm going back in with my darker color. I'm just going to touch parts of it. Actually, I might put some over there too. All right, and I'm gonna take my green and I'm just gonna connect the sections, touching a bit of the purple. Here's an extra tip that I wanted to share with you. As this started to dry, I started to notice that my peony wasn't as vibrant as I wanted it to be. And I'd like to add a bit more darker paint in those little spots where we were adding it before, because when it dried a bit lighter. So if you ever wanted to do that, what you can do is re-wet that area. So I'm gonna wet this whole area, because if you were to just put dark paint at the bottom, it would just be a layer on top, which won't look so good. I mean, it might look good, but to get it to blend properly, re-wet the whole area, take your pink again, and then run it along the bottom so it will blend. Okay, so do the same thing with the next section. I have a bit too much water there, so I'm just gonna mop it up a bit with my paintbrush. Okay, and then I'm gonna go back in with my dark paint, go around those bottom edges. And you'll know that it's gonna blend when you see it kind of make those like spider web kind of patterns. Does that make sense? Okay, if it's just like a line of paint, you can tell it wasn't wet enough and it's just a layer. In that case, you can just dab it with your paper towel and fix it that way and then try again. But wet up the area, not too much water, but just enough. And you just gotta kind of try again. You know, try different things. So I'm gonna do some of these petals. And it can get tricky because I've already done this and it's parts of it have blended into the green. I don't want to go over the green and lose that, so I'm just going to try and wet parts of the area, not too much. And just gently touch these bits to make it blend. Okay. And then I'm just going to go around. Like that, and that should do it. And that just makes it a bit more colorful, it makes it stand out a little bit better. Just gonna add some of those yellow dots there because that kind of faded as well. And there you go.
Thank you guys so much for watching my video. I really hope you liked it and I hope you learned something. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel and follow me on Instagram for more. Have a great day, guys. Bye. Bye-bye. Are you playing us? Oh! Are you playing us a song? A little drummer boy.